What's going on, good people? We live up in this thing, man. It's your guy, the real estate investor next door. We live. And today we're gonna be talking about the fastest way for you to get a deal wholesaling real estate. So that's what we got on tap for today. You man, I'm live. You jumping on that.
I was trying to talk to you about the meeting I just had, but I don't know. I think I'm about to eat real quick. I'm gonna watch you and chime in.
Okay. It won't be long.
All right.
All right. So we live up in this thing, man. Finna talk about the fastest way that you can start wholesaling real estate. The fastest way to get a deal in 2023, really, man. And just talking about like the things that I'm seeing and the things that I'm seeing and what I think you could do to start, wholesaling real estate like right now. So yeah, that's what we got today, man. You got questions, make sure you leave it in the comments on the side. And man, we're gonna go ahead and jump to it. So I think the fastest way for you to find a deal these days, it's a couple of different ways that you can take it, right? um you can you can find a buyer, like you can get really good at finding a buyer, or you can get really good at finding a seller. Like you have to pick one or the other, because the fastest way for you to actually do a deal is the JV, right? Because if somebody already got sellers, it's easy to work with them and just have a buyer. And if somebody already have buyers, it's easier to work with them and just get the seller. So I think the fastest way for you to get a deal in 2023 is the one JV with somebody. Like, either get, like I said, get good at finding sellers or get good at finding buyers. And finding buyers, it usually costs less than finding sellers. Finding buyers costs you time. It costs you calling people. It costs you talking to people. It costs you networking with a lot of people, and you will run into cash buyers. Like I called this agent up today, man, and the agent was the agent was working with an investor that was selling a property. I called up a property of somebody that was rehabbing, and he was like, "Yeah, I got clients. I got to work with a bunch of investors, and I buy myself." So I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So bam, I found somebody that purchased property in an area that I'm finding property in. So like I would be able to use that investor for somebody else. So now it's like, hey, I could tell other people like, hey, I'm looking in this area. I'm working with investors that's buying in this area. And then if they bring me a deal, bam, I can send it over to him. We can get it sold. Like I think that's the fastest way to actually do a deal these days. People talking about doing it fast. People talking about doing it for free. It's like I just called up one agent. The first agent I called up on a property that looked flipped, he worked with investors. He was an investor, right? It's like, that's the fastest way to do a deal is to get connected to buyers that are being active in this market, right? So I think that's the fastest way to start wholesaling real estate. Now, the other way you could do it is finding sellers, right? People that you might know, people at your job, people, in your neighborhood, just looking around when you're driving around. And then taking that property and bringing it to somebody like me, somebody like Max Maxwell, Chris Jefferson, Keith Everett, all those big guns, maybe, or bringing it to the random wholesaler, or, something like that. I think that's another way to really get a deal going pretty fast. If you know somebody that might be interested in selling, or if you could just tell people, hey, I know some investors looking to buy around here. If you know somebody that's interested in selling, let me know. Right. So, bam, I think just talking to people, just talking to people is the big key. Right. whether that's calling up agents. I think if you call up a ton of agents of houses that's on the market that look like they're being flipped, bam, you're gonna be getting deals, right? You're gonna be running into investors. You're gonna run into a ton of investors if you look up properties that look like they're being flipped. You're gonna run into a ton of investors, and you're gonna be able to do a deal, right? If you then turn around and broadcast, hey, I'm working with investors that's buying property in these areas, right? And then the other way is finding sellers, right? Finding sellers, getting these sellers and connecting them to a wholesaler and that has an end buyer, and that way y'all can work together, right? So I think that's the biggest way, that's the fastest way to find a deal in 2023. Just wanted to go live real quick, man, and hit y'all with those tips. And I'm not even gonna stay long, but I'm gonna shout out some people. Anita, what's up? Anita, Jamie Buck, what's up? And Thad coming through on the chat. What's going on, man? Just wanted to come in live quick on a Monday and give y'all a quick tip. But until tomorrow, man, I'm gonna see y'all later. Appreciate y'all coming through. Cass coming through. Check out the show tomorrow. We got a special show on Sunday where I got this 21-year-old that's been out here crushing it in wholesale real estate. We're going to talk to him about what he's doing and what's working for him. So stay tuned for that. But tomorrow we're going to come with some good stuff for y'all. And man, so stay tuned for tomorrow. Go back and watch these quick tips and take action, man. Whatever you do, act, go out here and do.